Facebook has over 500 million members. If Facebook were a country, it would be the third largest nation in the world. I'm Laurie Andrews, and my work is to look at what rules should and now do govern Facebook. Facebook is changing the way we work, the way we play, the way we connect. Almost every area of the economy is affected by Facebook. Cops are using Facebook posts to provide evidence in criminal cases. Criminals are using Facebook posts about vacations to figure out who to rob while they're away. And 35% of employers say that they make decisions about whether to hire or fire people based on their Facebook profile. But one area that isn't changing is securities law. William Birdthistle is with us to tell us what Facebook faces in the securities law area.
When William Birdthistle started teaching securities law, he never imagined his work would intersect that of rapper 50 Cent.
No, I certainly didn't, Laurie. But it turns out that his experience with the legal system goes beyond the lyrics of his own songs. He's actually become something of a famous case in securities regulation because he, over the course of one evening, managed to move the price of a stock remarkably. He sent out 4 or 5 posts, tweets on his Twitter account, expressly touting a stock that he was an investor in, saying it was a great buy, people should get in while they can, and he was really successful. He has 3.8 million followers on Twitter, and so he has the ability to move markets. And sure enough, the stock company that he touted, the price went up 200% in one day.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was remarkable. And the reason...
Did he violate any laws?
Well, this is the thing. He got an enormous amount of attention very quickly because security scholars everywhere thought, wow, when you see a stock price move like that, you've got 2 big questions that come to mind. One is he an investment advisor offering unsuitable investment advice? If you're a broker-dealer or someone who's invested in the industry and you make stock recommendations, you have to worry that those recommendations are suitable for the audience. Now, I'm guessing that Mr. Cent did not think that he was in the business, but when you broadcast a recommendation like that, and clearly people act upon it, that raises one question. Is he giving suitable investment advice? And
so he may be reaching 13-year-olds, he may be reaching millionaires,
exactly.
He may be, reaching street kids.
He might be, right? And the question, of course, is this stock, HNHI, suitable for them? And you could tell that that was a concern in this issue because very quickly, the next morning, presumably after consultation with legal counsel, all of his original posts came down, his tweets came down and were deleted from his account. And what went up were a series of new tweets that said, these investments may not be suitable for you. They're suitable for me, but I can't, you should speak to your own financial advisor.
Yes. And why do we care so much about stocks? He also has a deal, an endorsement deal around some condoms he's developed, magic stick condoms. And he can say, buy magic stick condoms, and we're fine with that. But what's the history of stock market abuse that leads us to have more protection in the securities field?
It's true. Exactly. If he were touting specific products, so for instance, even in the first deal, he has a television, they release television products. He could have mentioned those specifically and he'd be fine. But for since 1933, since the Great Depression, stocks have been given an additional layer of protection for a couple of reasons. One, they're intangible. You're talking about intangible rights, a little bit of economic rights in the stock, and a little bit of voting rights in a company. But because they're intangible, they're very hard to price. So the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, looks very warily on people manipulating that price. That's one reason. The other thing is we have a terrible record. Humans, terrible when it comes to these. 400 years ago in Holland, people were going crazy to buy tulip bulbs.
Yeah, and some of them were priced higher than the price of houses because they thought the futures were, was in tulips. And now that we've had Twitter and Facebook enter this, it's changed things somewhat. 50 million tweets a day. How does an agency police that? In addition, even the Fortune 500 companies, 81 of them have their own blogs.
Yeah, I mean, we talked briefly about the pump and dump angle of 50 Cent's tweeting, but that is, again, that is a very venerable, swindle. And it's been around for a long time. And in fact, one of the first cases of a prosecution of a social media securities violation happened in New York. It was the U.S. attorney investigating longshoremen who were unloading cocaine. And that's more in their line of business, I would imagine. But it turns out that when they were auditing the files, they found out that they had also been, these longshoremen had also been using Twitter and Facebook accounts to pump and dump a penny stock. But you make a great point, though, which is, a lot of what was fraud before is still fraud, but social media gives you powerful new tools to perpetrate it very quickly. 50 Cent is not going to get away with a lot because everyone knows who he is. But when you don't know these longshoremen, they can access huge numbers of people. They can do it without alerting the authorities. And it's very hard to trace because they can make themselves confidential or use anonymous.
Now, what about Discovery getting back to 50 Cent? Do you think his song lyrics will become an issue if he eventually does dump, how to rob, things like that?
Well, it's true. If I were his lawyer, I might spend a little bit of time going through past his lyrics to see whether he had, you know, I'm sure he's referred to a lot of different potential kinds of legal and illegal activity in his lyrics. I'm not sure he's referred to any forward-looking statements or plans for perpetrating securities fraud. But I'd take a good look just to make sure. Maybe it'll be an idea for his next album.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing your briefs and your further posts in this area.
Thanks so much, Laurie.